Either this Twitch team is ignorant or purposely trying to co-opt a hashtag. Heyo, it's your boy Zero. How my number one's doing today? As for me, I'm feeling entertained and somewhat frustrated. It depends on how things kind of fall out to this. I'm interested and entertained by the topic of this video, as my introduction has already told you guys. And before we get started, if you like my content, it would be great if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, it'd be great too. But most importantly, to help me through the algorithm, share the video. And I think it's also a very interesting topic as well, so I think a lot of people would be very interested in this as well. Anyways, let's go on to the actual topic. So in this story, there is in the English VTuber space. This was brought to my attention from my quote retreat from someone I interviewed recently, and I've been following her stuff too. And I said there was a mistake to follow her on Twitter, but it does help me keep in the loop of things in the English VTuber space, which is kind of interesting at times. So please go follow her on her socials. I can link it all down below there. She's a great person from what I've been able to judge from speaking to her one time. Wow, look at that. I'm a great judge of character, aren't I? So what seems to be a relatively new team on Twitch, and I don't exactly understand how Twitch works with teams because I don't really use Twitch. I don't really choose to use Twitch anyways. So teams, that I understand, is kind of like a group of people on Twitch that allows them users to, or viewers to, kind of jump between people within like a group. It's just kind of like a way of conglomerating your like similar people and people who are cooperating. Because I know some guy I follow, Tio, has a Corsair team under Corsair. So like anyone who's sponsored by them or works with them is in that team. So in this case, this is a team on Twitch. And they made an announcement tweet, and I'm sure you already kind of know where I'm leading here. Let me just switch over to the desktop view. We see here on Twitter an announcement from them, and they're called EN VTubers team. There's a problem. You might see that problem. They are announcing themselves. They want to be inclusive, empowering, blah blah, all that fluffy stuff. And so they have the Twitch team link and application form and a link to their Discord. And I find it really funny that they're actually using hashtag EN VTuber, which is hilariously confusing to people. It can be, because why would you use this tag? It's a generic tag used by many English VTubers. Like, this is one of the worst, could be one of the worst decisions that for marketing you can make, is using something generic, especially with this kind of thing. So let me bring up some arguments that I really liked from this. From users named Mix and Match and Spooky. So let's go with the first one here. Mix and Match says that basically it's really uncreative, and I agree with that, because it creates confusion. Exactly, I agree with that, because this is a generic term that English-speaking VTubers are using, and if they want to actually stand out, this is a really bad decision, since this can be drowned out by other English VTubers. Now, I also say it's co-opting because, well, I mean, why else would you want to use this hashtag? And it might be also very smart. I don't know. Because again, it's either a mistake in marketing, in decision making, or someone is actually like literally just trying to like capitalize on outrage, which I'm possibly feeding into. But it'll remain to be seen. So yeah, it's not entirely my problem. I understand with that, but I am one connoisseur of YouTuber, so it's kind of in my ballpark to be concerned about this. And we'll move on to another user, Spooky, who's replying to this thread. I find very interesting. And they actually joined their Discord server, and has some very interesting screen caps. It seems like they don't like criticism. The guys in the server right now, the actual like moderators, or however you want to call them, and so fairly haters also when it criticizes. That's really bad for being inclusive. Yeah, that's not being inclusive if you just exclude people for saying something you don't agree with. And we look at these screenshots here. This is hilarious. So you see here, Senna is the actual person who's organized this. I don't know exactly the details on that. And she's saying that she has been using this tag for this team for 3 months. That doesn't really change anything, because I think that she should realize that this is a generic tag for English speakers. What I find really funny is, though, there's this other person Flame Angel saying, oh, it's just jealousy, we're growing, and people are just jealous. But I don't think they should keep the name. And it goes over here where there's a user named Blueberry. I agree. This is not a good thing to be doing. People are seeing this in a very negative light very quickly. Again, assuming for clout. And I'm believing that right now, unless we see more from later. But it's just really weird that like Flame Angel is just trying to comfort Blueberry, saying, oh, don't worry, he's not actually giving bad reputation. But how your response is, later on, you'll see here with Spooky, to criticism, doesn't speak well. I mean, already calling people haters or harassers by just criticizing is already a bad move. So next up, we have another screenshot from Spooky. It gets better. They're banning discussion of the entire topic. So they actually don't want people talking about the topic. As you can see here, they are talking about gatekeeping, malicious overtaking over the tag. Which, I mean, it's not gatekeeping when it's supposed to be open to everyone. It's more gatekeeping if you're using this for your own uses as your brand, a generic term. And Flame Angel, again, for some reason, saying here, yeah, just stop talking about it. I'm like, it's not very welcoming if you are excluding discussion like that and not taking criticism in the right way. And then even more, let's go, Spooky. Again, it's very interesting they're not actually talking about this. Again, they turn to censor real fast. Yeah, not really inclusive if that really happens. And if they want to promote themselves, yeah, sure. But again, mistake of being generic, using a generic term. So to quell, that's all they have to do is change the name. That's all they need to do. And the Twitter account that is running all this, the official VTubers, which again, don't confuse it with VTuber, okay? Because these guys aren't really speaking for the VTuber community, which is funny I say that, because there's a user named Jen who's been replying to them as well. And there's an interesting little part of the application to join the team that goes right here. It's very problematic, in my opinion, as well, because what are you looking to get out of joining the VTuber community, and how do you feel you can contribute? That's very misleading, in almost sounding like they're the arbiters of the English VTuber community. But I get it, yeah, using that is your name is VTuber, but still extremely generic, and again, problematic. And I don't often use that name, that word. So it's misleading, and their claim right now that because they're so quiet about it is because their founder Senna, as you saw in the earlier DMs or in the server, is in a different time zone and not aware of the backlash. Now, that does bring up an interesting thing as well. Maybe Senna is not a first English, like a first language speaker of English. I am definitely a second language speaker for English, right? It's my second language, but I've grown up in a country that's very anglicized, so it's easy to learn that way. So I can understand if that's an honest mistake, but it just seems a little too easy of a mistake to make, that you shouldn't be making that mistake. You should be doing your research if you want to market a team, market a name, right? And VTubers is a very generic term. If you've been on Twitter at all in the VTuber space, you would know why and how it's used. So my thoughts, I've said it multiple times already, so I'm just going to summarize it. If it was seriously they thought it was seriously a good idea to use the tags that's so generic, I'm sorry. That's not that much I can say else from that. That's unfortunate, so you should change the name. If it was ignorance, sure, fine. But mods being really stubborn and trying to say, hey, stop talking about it, not a good look either for a very inclusive supposed team. And anytime I talk and this is, again, it's my personal views here. If I ever see anything about inclusivity or diversity, I'm pretty averted from it. I don't really want to go into that at all, or interact with that kind of thing, because it seems like usually those kinds of initiatives are not what they say they want to be, usually. And I'd rather just have talented people in a group than inclusive people, or be inclusive in a hug box, So yeah, I could care less about I can care less about Twitch, honestly, but it's not my preferred platform to stream, like I've said before. I'm patiently waiting to see how this goes over, especially knowing that Senna is in a different time zone. So we'll see how it is. I think it will end hilariously. So far, it's quite entertaining to me. Anyways, leave your thoughts about this in the comments below. I would love to hear that. Again, share the video if you enjoyed it as well, and leave a like. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Boop.